My name is Kevin. After graduating from high school, I joined the company I currently work for. Shortly after starting my job, I married my wife Christine, whom I had been dating since my school days, and we had a daughter named Catherine. It has been over 10 years since Catherine was born, and recently, I feel like my life has become much more stable. However, lately, I have been dealing with a major issue. The problem is that Mr. Kennedy, the manager who recently transferred from a branch office, always looks down on me. While I was thinking about this at work, as usual, Mr. Kennedy called me over. "Mr. Kennedy, what can I do for you today? You are a bit late, aren't you? Are you disrespecting me? Make sure you prioritize my requests over anything else. I'm really sorry about that. I was attending an important meeting, and that made me late in getting here. I'm not interested in your excuses. You can't get promoted like that because you're always doing things like this. I'm not making excuses. I'm just stating the facts. But if I offended you, I apologize. That attitude is exactly why you are treated like this. You should learn from other people. Mr. Kennedy always treats me this way, constantly scolding me no matter the situation. Even though he says such harsh things, it is not like I am not contributing to the company. In fact, my sales performance is better than most, and I hardly ever take time off. Yet, I am treated this way, and I honestly do not know what to do. Thinking about it, I decided to take this opportunity to ask for advice. I want to earn your recognition, Mr. Kennedy. What specific actions should I take? I believe I am already contributing to the company in terms of figures. First of all, change that attitude. Also, get rid of that unskilled vibe typical of a high school graduate and work like the other competent employees. You always tell me to learn from others, but I am already outperforming them. So, could you give me more concrete guidance? You are so obsessed with figures that you come across as completely incompetent. Try to at least act like someone who knows how to work. If you can give me a clear image of what you expect, I will follow it. I currently believe that my way is the best." When I said that, Mr. Kennedy let out a big sigh. He seemed clearly fed up with me. I contribute to the company and dress the same as other employees, so why am I being treated this way? If I were not contributing at all and wore a worn-out suit, I might understand being treated like this. But that is not the case, so why am I being criticized like this? It bothers me so much that I want to resolve it this time. Your posture is terrible, and it annoys me. Why do you always stand like that? I have been aware of my poor posture, so I will work on correcting it from now on. Is posture the only thing that bothers you? No, there are other things too. You always go out on sales calls, but you come back later than anyone else, and it makes me furious. I am just visiting multiple companies, so it cannot be helped. Would you prefer I come back earlier rather than make more sales visits? Logically, spending more time on sales is better for the company than coming back early. But it seems like Mr. Kennedy just wants to find fault with me, even with that. If he really wants me to return earlier, I can do that, but how would that benefit the company? If he dislikes me so much, would it not be better for me to be out of the office more often? I do not want to think that way, but after being treated like this repeatedly, it is hard not to. There is work you can do in the office too. Continue doing as many sales calls as before, but make sure to come back and work here. I am doing significantly more sales than anyone else, and I even take work home. You still think it would be better for me to come back earlier? No matter how much I try to explain, you always argue back. As long as you do not change, neither will I. I am not trying to argue at all. I just want to understand the details because otherwise, there is no way to improve. Fine, do whatever you want, but remember, I will not forget that you talked back to me, so be prepared. I was not trying to be defiant. Mr. Kennedy walked away without giving me a chance to explain. Why am I not being recognized despite working harder than anyone else and achieving results while dressing like everyone else? Mr. Kennedy always looks down on me for being a high school graduate, but is that really such a big problem? After being criticized this much, I am starting to question things I never thought were wrong before. While I was feeling overwhelmed by these thoughts, Christine noticed and spoke to me. It seemed like she realized I was troubled. "You do not look well. Are you okay? If you are feeling sick, you should go to the doctor. The season is changing, and it is easy to catch something. Sorry for making you worry. It is not that I am sick. I have just been thinking about something, and maybe that is why I look pale. It is rare for you to be so deep in thought. You do not have to tell me if you do not want to, but can you share what is bothering you? Actually, I have been getting harassed by my boss, and it has been getting worse lately. I really want to find a way to deal with it. If you have been going through that, you should have told me sooner. It must have been hard keeping it all to yourself. Just hearing you say that helps a lot. Thank you for always being there for me. Knowing I have you makes me feel secure. Christine has always been calm and supportive, no matter what happens. Because I know her personality, I did not want to worry her, so I kept this to myself. But since she noticed because of my pale face, I decided to tell her everything. As I expected, she listened with genuine concern, and it really helped. I thought talking to my colleagues might blow things out of proportion, so having Christine to rely on is a relief. It is unbelievable that your boss would treat you like that when you are always working hard. It might hurt, but try not to take it to heart. I am trying not to, but I get called out and criticized so often that it is hard to just brush it off. If it were about an employee slacking off, I would understand, but criticizing you just because they do not like you is unreasonable. I have expressed how I feel, but my boss just does not understand and tells me to stop talking back. Clearly, your boss is the one in the wrong here. You should consider reporting this to upper management. Christine is probably right, but reporting it to HR might escalate things even more. I want to resolve this issue without making it a bigger deal, but if nothing changes, I may have to take that step. That could make it difficult for me to stay at the company, which is why I am hesitant. Even so, since Christine always puts me first, I decided to respect her opinion. Maybe I will try talking to Mr. Kennedy one more time, and if nothing changes, I will consider taking it to upper management. I just do not want you to keep bottling up your stress until it affects your health. I hope this gets resolved soon. Thanks for always worrying about me. I know I cannot keep going like this, so I will try to resolve it as soon as possible. If there's anything I can do, just let me know. You do not have to carry this burden alone. Just knowing I have someone on my side makes me feel a lot better. I think I can handle it from here. Make sure you address it before it gets worse. Otherwise, you will just keep suffering. Yeah, you are right. I will take care of it. Thanks for listening. With that, I decided to give it one more shot and talk to Mr. Kennedy directly. I thought about going to upper management right away, but I did not want to make it a big issue if I could avoid it. So, I decided to give him one last chance. If Mr. Kennedy still refuses to change, I will have no choice but to report it. When I approached Mr. Kennedy to have a conversation, I noticed he was talking to someone, clearly leaving me out. Feeling like I was being deliberately excluded, I decided to ask what they were talking about. What were you discussing just now? I am part of this department too, so I would like to know. If it is unrelated, that is fine. What? Were you eavesdropping on my conversation? How rude. This is why I hate dealing with incompetent high school graduates like you. Please do not say that. I was not trying to eavesdrop. I just happened to hear it when I got here. There you go again with your excuses. You probably did it on purpose, didn't you? That attitude of yours really annoys me. Why do you never believe what I say? I just arrived here and wanted to know what the conversation was about. There you go again. Fine. I will tell you what we were discussing. This is a rare opportunity, so listen up. Why do I have to be treated like this just for asking what the conversation was about? No matter what I say, it seems like Mr. Kennedy just wants to look down on me. Being harassed this relentlessly makes me lose the will to even communicate. However, since we are in the same department, I still want to know what they were discussing, so I decided to endure the harassment and ask. Then, could you please tell me what you were talking about? If it has nothing to do with me, I will not force you to share. Well, this department has had the same members for quite a while, so I thought it might be time for everyone to let out their feelings. We were discussing having a drinking party to open up. I see, so that is what it was. Since you were talking about it when I was not around, does that mean I am not supposed to join? That was the plan, honestly. But since you overheard, I have no choice but to let you join. It is not that I am particularly eager to participate, so if you really do not want me there, I am fine with not attending. To be honest, having you there would probably make it less enjoyable for everyone. But excluding you would be immature, so I will let you join. Okay. Honestly, being told all that makes me not want to participate. But if I do not go, I fear they will just talk badly about me behind my back, so I decided to attend to keep things in check. I worry that if Mr. Kennedy spreads bad things about me to the others, they might start thinking the same way, and that would be troublesome. It is already tough dealing with one person's hostility, and if the entire department turns against me, it would be unbearable. I do not really want to go to the drinking party, but I decided to endure it and participate. All right, I will join. Please let me know the time and place once they are decided. Fine, but do not expect us to actually be there at the time and place I give you. I will share some kind of information, at least. Understood. Hearing that makes me anxious about going to the designated place. Still, since I have no allies in this department, I have no choice but to go where Mr. Kennedy tells me. While I was feeling uneasy, the time and location for the drinking party were shared in the department chat, which everyone could see. Since it was posted where the entire team could read it, I assumed it was accurate. However, right after that message was sent, Mr. Kennedy came over to me. I was planning to send you false information, but I accidentally shared it where everyone could see. Well, whatever, just make sure you attend. So that was your plan after all. All right, since I now have the correct information, I will be there. Just know that since you are coming, you will be hearing some harsh comments that usually go unsaid. If you are prepared for that, then go ahead. Honestly, I would rather hear it to my face than have it said behind my back, so I will just put up with it. I cannot understand what goes on in the mind of a high school graduate like you. Why are you even in this company? And so, despite the rude remarks from Mr. Kennedy, I ended up agreeing to attend the drinking party. I thought attending would help keep things under control, but it seems it may have had the opposite effect. Still, after saying I would participate, I cannot back out now. If I suddenly decided not to go after all that, I would just get criticized even more. I decided to let Christine know that I was going to the drinking party. Actually, I tried to talk to Mr. Kennedy, but things took a different turn, and now there's going to be a drinking party. I will talk to him properly after that. Are you sure it is okay to attend a drinking party with Mr. Kennedy? If he gets drunk, he might say even more awful things. It seems like that is pretty much guaranteed, but I would rather hear it directly than have him badmouth me when I am not there. I get that gossiping behind someone's back is awful, but putting yourself through that seems too much. If you really hate it, you do not have to go. I figured that maybe being upfront with him during the party could change things. I thought it might be worth trying to see if I can improve the situation. Now that you mention it, that could work. Alcohol might make it easier to speak honestly, and maybe you can bridge the gap with him. After hearing my reasoning, Christine, who was initially against it, came around to the idea. Christine is much smarter than I am, always considering things from different angles. Since she understood my point of view, it made me feel that I was not entirely wrong. Knowing that Christine supports me gave me a bit more motivation. If this drinking party can help improve my relationship with Mr. Kennedy, it might be worth it. I really do not know how it will turn out, but I will try my best at the party. If it goes well, it might make things easier in the future. Still, if it becomes unbearable, do not force yourself. Just come home right away. Yeah, I will not push myself too hard. If I feel like the insults are getting out of hand, I will leave immediately. You do not have to keep working in a place that makes you miserable. If it gets too much, it is okay to quit. If things do not improve at all, I will start thinking about changing jobs. Thanks for always being there for me. After talking with Christine, I made up my mind to attend the drinking party. After some time had passed at the drinking party, Mr. Kennedy came up to me. I figured he would approach me at some point, but it happened much sooner than I expected. He seemed pretty drunk. What was he going to say? Hey, why are you even here? I do not get why someone like you is part of this company. What on earth was HR thinking when they hired you? You do not have to go that far. I am doing my best, so please evaluate me based on my performance. A useless high school graduate like you, of course. Your daughter is going to end up just as dumb. Just a guess. But she is probably working with just a high school diploma too, right? No, actually, my daughter Catherine only graduated from middle school and is working. In terms of education, I guess I rank higher. But honestly, Catherine is much more competent than I am. When I said that, Mr. Kennedy burst out laughing loudly, his voice echoing throughout the venue. Apparently, he found it hilarious that Catherine was working after graduating from middle school. Catherine works hard despite being a middle school graduate, so why does she have to be laughed at? Thinking that, I decided to stand up for Catherine. It sounds like you are looking down on Catherine, but she works harder than anyone else. You should not judge her like that. I have heard the saying, like father, like son, but I did not expect, like father, even worse daughter. It is just funny to think that someone would actually work with a middle school diploma. You do not need to say that. Catherine is more capable than most college graduates and is doing just fine in the working world. You only think that because she is your daughter. From my perspective, your daughter is the most useless of the useless. Having someone like her as an employee's daughter is just too embarrassing. How can you say such horrible things? Catherine works harder than anyone. Please take a look at her abilities before making such judgments. No matter what I said, Mr. Kennedy showed no sign of listening. While I was trying to figure out how to handle the situation, Mr. Kennedy, still high-spirited, started talking again. We are going to have a family gathering soon, so make sure you attend. Bring your whole family. I want to see what your daughter is like. I do not mind attending a family event, but you will not make any rude remarks toward Catherine, will you? If that is the case, I will bring her. Do I seem like the kind of person who would do that? I would never, so just relax and make sure Catherine is there. Okay. And so, I ended up agreeing to bring both Christine and Catherine to the family gathering. Since this was so unexpected, I decided to explain the situation to Christine and Catherine. I did not know how they would react, but since I had already agreed, we could not back out. Hey, I know this is sudden, but my company is going to have a family gathering soon, and I would like both of you to come. Is that okay? I have never heard of a family gathering at your company before. Is this something new? I do not mind participating though. I have never been to something like that either, but if it is okay for me to join, I will go. But why do you look so down, Dad? Well, the event is being organized by Mr. Kennedy, who is pretty harsh, so I am a bit worried about how it will turn out. But I already said we would participate. If you have already agreed, there is no point in being scared now. I will go too and try talking to Mr. Kennedy myself. Got it. Thanks, Christine. I will let Mr. Kennedy know that all three of us will be there. I am kind of curious to see what kind of person this Mr. Kennedy is. With their approval, we decided to attend the family gathering together. Mr. Kennedy promised not to make any rude comments to my family, but there was no guarantee he would actually keep that promise. Thinking about that, we headed to the venue, which was surprisingly spacious. There were nameplates on the tables for each attendee, so as I searched for our seats, Mr. Kennedy approached me. I thought it would be overwhelming to talk to him right away, but since he approached me, there was no way to avoid it. Oh, you really brought your whole family. Thank you so much for coming. Let me show you to your seats. Thank you very much. His attitude was so different from usual that I did not know how to respond. He had promised not to say anything rude to my family, but would he really keep that promise? Thinking about that, we reached our seats, and I saw Catherine's nameplate labeled as incompetent middle school graduate. I could not comprehend what was happening. Mr. Kennedy, what is the meaning of this? Everyone else's nameplates have their titles and names, but Catherine's plate is clearly inappropriate. Well, you know how elites stick with elites. I just made it clear who is who. Now everyone can instantly see that your daughter is incompetent, right? Did you really do this without even meeting her? Labeling someone's daughter like that is completely inappropriate. It is highly offensive. Please replace it immediately. Getting emotional right away, how typical of someone incompetent. This is why I hate dealing with high school graduates. Your daughter clearly gives off that same incompetent vibe. How can you say something like that right to her face? Any decent adult would know better. Are you sure it is okay to talk to your manager like that? Just because we are at a family gathering does not change our work relationship. It could affect your promotion. Mr. Kennedy was relentlessly using his position to belittle me. If it were just the usual atmosphere, I might have been able to endure it. But being insulted like this in front of my family made me truly angry. Plus, this time, it was not just about me. Catherine was being dragged into it as well. Why does she have to be treated like this just because she did not go to high school? While I was stewing over it, I realized that getting angry was pointless. So, I decided to confront Mr. Kennedy with the truth. Staying at this company is just causing me stress. How about we leave now, Ms. Mitchell? Yes, I think this company is hopeless. it would be better to switch to another one as soon as possible. As Christine and I were having this conversation, Mr. Kennedy looked utterly shocked. He seemed completely at a loss, unable to grasp what was happening. Curious about what was going on, Mr. Kennedy interrupted our conversation. "Wait a minute. What do you mean by Ms. Mitchell? There is no way a useless wife like yours could be a president." "Mr. Kennedy, do you seriously not recognize the president of one of our major business partners? I am amazed you managed to get promoted to manager with such poor work skills." "Business partner's president?" With that, Mr. Kennedy started staring intently at Christine, who had been wearing a mask. Then, realizing that Christine was actually Ms. Mitchell, the president of a major client, his face turned pale. It was no wonder he had just discovered that the wife of the subordinate he always looked down on was actually the president of a key client. "Why is Ms. Mitchell here?" "My husband works at this company, so naturally, I am attending the family gathering." "Is there any problem with that?" "No, of course not. Please take your time and enjoy the event." Mr. Kennedy was desperately trying to smooth things over, but it was not going to be that easy. I could see a fierce determination growing in Christine's eyes. It was understandable after all. Her husband and daughter had been treated horribly. But surprisingly, the first one to take a stand was Catherine. "Mr. Kennedy, it seems like you really lack the ability to judge people. Relying solely on academic background to evaluate others is a sign of poor leadership. It is honestly worrying that someone like you is a manager. I do not need a middle school graduate lecturing me. Why do I have to take that from you? Just because your mother is a president, do not get carried away." Actually, Catherine works as an executive at Christine's company, so her statements are not out of line for her position. When I said that, Mr. Kennedy looked genuinely shocked, clearly not expecting this revelation. Finding out that someone he considered beneath him was actually more successful left him at a loss for words. Still, perhaps wanting to protect his own pride, Mr. Kennedy blurted out something outrageous. "Even if she is an executive, it is just because her mom pulled some strings. There is no way a middle school graduate could be genuinely competent." No, Catherine first joined a completely unrelated company and became the top salesperson before coming to our company. She earned her position through pure ability, not connections. Hearing that from Christine left Mr. Kennedy completely speechless. Still, not wanting to lose, he desperately tried to make another excuse. But that does not change the fact that she is a middle school graduate. No matter how competent she might seem, it is just a fluke. People without academic credentials will inevitably be left behind. Actually, Catherine had already completed high school level studies while in middle school and consistently ranked at the top nationwide in mock exams. So, it is not just work she excels academically as well. But do you really think it is okay to talk to your superior like that? Regardless of this being a family event, our professional relationship does not change. I can still take disciplinary action against you. Sorry, but I have decided to quit this company. I am tired of being treated poorly despite my efforts, and I realized it is unproductive to stay here. As if a useless person like you could find another job. You should really face reality before making such bold statements." Mr. Kennedy looked slightly relieved, thinking he had finally regained control of the situation. But I decided to hit him with one final truth. I have the top sales performance in the department, so I have accepted a position as sales director at one of Christine's related companies. I have been offered the role for a while now. What? That is not fair. You think it is okay to keep relying on others? It is embarrassing for an adult to act like that. Maybe it is not my place to say this, but isn't it more embarrassing for an adult to keep looking down on others solely based on academic background? Well, that's... Hearing that, Mr. Kennedy was at a loss for words, probably because Catherine had hit the nail on the head. Perhaps deep down, he knew that belittling others over their education was pathetic. Being called out on it by someone much younger must have made him feel humiliated. Then, seeing Mr. Kennedy in utter despair, Christine began to deliver the final blow. Given what happened today, I can see how problematic your attitude is. Therefore, I have decided to terminate all business contracts between our companies. It is truly unfortunate after such a long partnership. Wait, if we lose our contract with Ms. Mitchell's company, I will definitely be reprimanded by upper management. As a business leader and a wife, I find it risky to keep dealing with a company where someone like you holds a managerial position. Honestly, I think this is the most reasonable decision. A company where Mr. Kennedy constantly looks down on others and mistreats his subordinates is bound to have a high turnover rate. It is better to avoid working with such a place. No way. Treating your subordinates poorly every day and making rude comments to their families. I will make sure to report all of this to your upper management. Please, anything but that. I understand if the contract is terminated, but is it really necessary to inform the upper management? Mr. Kennedy was desperately trying to make excuses, hoping to somehow escape the consequences of the contract termination. It was clear that he was panicking now that he realized a direct report would be made. However, if we just ended the contract without reporting it, it could end up being Christine's responsibility, so it could not be helped. If you did not want upper management to hear about this, you should not have acted that way in the first place. If you want to blame someone, blame your past self. No, please. Once again, Catherine hit him with a straightforward argument, leaving Mr. Kennedy speechless. He fell to his knees, unable to say a word. Just as Christine had declared, she reported the contract termination and the reasons behind it to the company's upper management. The same day that Christine made the report, Mr. Kennedy faced disciplinary action. Taking responsibility, Mr. Kennedy was demoted and sent to a regional branch as a regular employee. However, feeling too embarrassed to stay, he ultimately resigned. I successfully changed jobs, so from now on, I plan to work freely and do my best.